This video covers lesson 11.7 on circles in the coordinate plane. The essential question that we'll answer is, how do you write equations and graph circles in the coordinate plane? The equation for a circle is based on the distance formula and the fact that all of the points on a circle are equidistant from the center. So no matter where we pick a point, x, y, on the circle, it's always going to be that fixed distance from the center of the circle. The radii is that distance. So using the distance formula that we learned at the very beginning of this course, you can substitute the x2, y2 with the xy, and the x1, y1 with the center point hk. And when we do that, we end up with this formula right here. And then we can undo the square root by squaring each side to get r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, where hk are the coordinates of the center. The equation for a circle with center hk and radius r is given by x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Using that formula, we can write the equation for any circle in the coordinate plane. Suppose we want a circle whose center is 1, 7, there's our hk, and the radius is 8. Taking those values, we can substitute them into the standard form equation of a circle written above. I always like to write the equation first and then substitute our values in there. So what we're going to do is we are going to replace the h, k, and r with the values right here. H with 1, k with 7, and r with 8. This then becomes x minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 7 quantity squared equals 8 squared. And then we should simplify the 8 squared to 64, making our final answer x minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 7 quantity squared equals 64. And that is our standard equation of the circle. Now, sometimes the coordinates of the center of the circle might be negative values. Like here, our h value is negative 2, and our k value is negative 10, and the r value is 5. Starting off with our general equation here, we can say, well, that's x minus negative 2 quantity squared plus y minus negative 10 quantity squared equals 5 squared. And the minus will change to a plus. Minus a negative 2 is the same as add a positive 2, making it x plus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 10 quantity squared equals 25. And what you'll notice in each of these equations is that the sign in the equation is the opposite of the sign of the center. Positive center 1, 7, we have minus 1, minus 7. And then negative coordinates for the center, we have positive in our equation. And it always switches because of the fact that the general form here has the subtraction signs. Now let's try going the other direction. What if we have an equation for the circle and we want to figure out its center and radius? In order to do that, we need to identify h, k, and r. Remember that our general equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. H and k are going to be the opposite of the signs in the equation. Here we can see that there's a plus 11. That means that our h is actually the opposite, negative 11. And y minus 4 means the k is a positive 4. And then this 49 is not the r, that is the r squared. So we have to do a little bit of algebra here. R squared equals 49. We can square root that to get r equals 7. And now we have everything we need the center is negative 11, 4, and the radius is 7. Let's try another example. Notice that in part B, the h value next to the x is a subtract 6, meaning h has to be positive 6, and then there is no k value with the y. Think of this as like a y minus 0 squared. So if h or k is missing, there's 0. And then that 144 is the r squared. We can get the r by taking the square root of that, which is 12. And now for our center, the ordered pair is 6, 0. And for our radius, we have 12. Go ahead and try the try now on your own. Please pause your video and give that one a try. And here is your solution. The center is 1, negative 8, and the radius is 3. For our final example in this lesson, we're going to look at how to graph the equation of a circle. And before we can graph the equation of a circle, we need to identify its center and radius. Notice that the h and k are both missing. It's just x squared, so h is 0, and it's just y squared, so k is 0. That makes our center 0, 0, which is right here at the origin. And then the radius is the square root of 25, which is 5. Now to sketch that out, what you want to do is you want to just count 5 in all of the horizontal and vertical directions. Starting at the center point, we can go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make a dot. And then I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make another dot. And then we can go left and right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now that you have those points, you just want to do your best to sketch in the circle. If we wanted to make it a perfect circle, we could use a compass. Here, just draw a circle the best you can and make sure that your circle goes through those 4 points that we plotted. I think it's nice to do like a half circle at a time. So there's my top half of my circle and then the bottom half. And it's not perfect, but it looks like a circle and that's good enough. Here's one more example of graphing a circle for us to do together. Notice that there's a +1 here, meaning h is going to be the opposite, -1. And there's a y minus 2, meaning k will be +2. Then the r squared is equal to 49. And when we square root that, we get r equals 7. Then we need to plot a circle with the center point -1, 2. -1 on the x and 2 on the y is right there. And then the radius is 7. I'll go 7 in each direction. So 7 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 down. And then left and right. And now we can just sketch that. And there we go. Here's one final example for you to try on your own. Pause the video and graph this circle. Here is your solution. Your center should be at 3, -2, and the radius should be 4. This is our final example in this lesson. You're now ready to practice writing and graphing equations of circles in the coordinate plane. Thanks for watching. Bye.